Because unconsciously, there are organizations, there are companies already doing quite well in terms of nurturing the women leaderships and supporting the women in their work, in their current role, and carving the path for them to grow up. I want to take an example in my company, for example. I have to be very honest, we don't have any policies or plan or strategy on gender diversity in Navigos Group Vietnam. No, we don't have the formal policy. But what we naturally do is that we are listening to the employees, understand their issues, and especially for the women, who are having the family, then we always, we are always giving the flexible working condition for our employees to actually complete complete the duties at home, and also contribute to the companies, because we are measuring our people by the outcomes. The beauty of the professional service industry in Navigos Search, for example, is that we don't have to clock in, clock out. We do not have to make people to come into the companies at a certain time fixed, and then exactly what time that they can leave. We can actually create certain flexibilities for the members who are in need, and putting the trust on people, that we value the reason that they are giving us, the reason why they need that flexibilities. And we enhance the culture of making ownership of your work. So by doing so, then we are also enable the female employees in our organizations to actually plan themselves on how they can complete their work, and also how they can look after their family properly. So I think that in terms of organizational planning, then that could be the things that we have been doing. And I've seen that a lot of other companies are also taking care of that, although they do not put in place the serious gender diversity strategy. There would need to be more formal approach to support female employees to grow up. And I believe that there are still a lot of things that even Navigos Group Vietnam, we still need to think about and do more. Yeah, so I think that could be the answer for your first question. So yeah, Alison, you want to add in something?
Thanks very much, Phượng Mai. So as I mentioned in my presentation, so in Gentom, we do not have any kind of policy, we do not have any kind of targets for gender diversity. But what we have is to create an environment that supports women to grow. So in most cases, women maybe do not realize that they actually do have the capability to develop to leaders. So what we do is create that kind of opportunity, okay, within the work for people to realize about their ability and to build the self-confidence, okay? On the other hand, we as a management team are always on the lookout, okay, for potentials. And we are the ones that, okay, so when we identify such kind of talent, it's also management's responsibility to carve the path, to recommend trainings, to recommend activities, to also coach these people on how they can keep on building their self-confidence and also building the capabilities to become future leaders. So for me, it's really more about the environment and about the culture that is built in the organization rather than by policy or targets.
And for the next question, the second question, Ms. Mai will add more.
Well, so for your next question, chị Milan, I would like to share on this, in terms of company support to make sure that women can realize their strengths, know their potential, and grow up, and also have the facilities to support the life duties, right? So, to be honest, this has to be depending on how what kind of space that your companies has in order to organize such kind of kindergarten or playing ground for kids to just come there and then mom can work, while kids are enjoying. Now, in the limitation of working space in our office building, for example, we are trying to do the things that we have the champions in engagement activities. One of the team managers, Miss Van Lê here. And then we try to create the events, the activities, outdoor activities for the children of our staffs, and the children, the future Navigos search could be gathered together and play, enjoy the children's events. And then also, in my office in the Ho Chi Minh City, for example, very lucky that I have a separate space. I put there the toys. Sometimes some of our staff members, because of the work, then they cannot stay at home and have to go come into the companies to access into the CRM system, because we cannot access from home. So they bring the kids to the office, and the kids can play, with all the crayons and the toys at the corner, and then mom is working. Well, I'm not purposely do that in order to force my female employees to come to work, when they have to look after the kids. But, at least creating the facilities, or at least to creating the environment that allowing them to actually have the flexibilities of taking care of their families when they are still at work, would be also another efforts that the companies can do within our so-called budget or whatever facilities that we have. And one thing very important, as I just discussed with Chimilan during the break time, that in order to support women at work, probably it is time now for us, the elder generation, myself, Chimilan, and some other ladies here, we may think about forming a group of mentors or coaches, to support the members, the female members in the companies, to guide them or prompting the questions in the mentorship way, so that they can think about their potentials, think about the barriers that they think existing in their lives now, and how to overcome those barriers. And that kind of support, I think that can be very useful for the females employees in any companies. Yeah, so that would be my opinions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I think that might have with the question and might have with your companies. Maybe you can implement in your companies, your organizations. And coming up next with other questions, please. Please. From table 9, please. Please introduce about yourself.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, it's the lunchtime now, but sorry for I think it's a very short question. Firstly, thank you so much for Navigos to organize this event. And I have many times to attend the event like this, and every time after come back, I also have some new ideas for the action for the company. Thank you so much. And my question for Alison is that, firstly, I would like to introduce, my name is Ha. I'm coming from Idemitsu Petroleum, Idemitsu QA Petroleum Company. My company is the first foreign company in Vietnam to have business in fields of retail petroleum. Then we just have 2 years establishment, that's very young. And I just saw some image from Ellison company. It shows very happy faces from your staff, employees. And we just actually now, I'm thinking about the company culture. Says, of course, we have to build it. If we don't want to build it, maybe they build it themselves. So can you share me your experience, how you built your company culture? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So when building a company culture, so it is not something that, it's just something that we write. okay, but it is actually something that we believe in. Okay, so first of all, I mean, obviously I bring with me the culture from Gentum, okay, globally. Okay, I bring with me the values of this company, which happen to also match with my values. And so, you know, we started here the company from scratch. So when we set up the core team, okay, this is something I personally, okay, together with my team, so we talked together, as I said. First we wanted to see what do we want our workplace to be? What do we want to achieve? So this is the question we put to ourselves. And when we came with the answers, okay, then we followed. This is also, we not only designed a factory to be able to help us with this culture, but then we also looked for team members who fit in this kind of culture, who share our values, okay? And it's always leading by example. So it is very important that and it's a belief that comes from within. It is not something that we just, you know, write on a piece of paper, but it's something that we truly believe and that we live it. We actually show it. So if we say that we are respecting people, you know, this is seen through our actions. If we say that we want to give a work-life balance, we actually do actions, you know, as I said, we look for ways to reducing waste. Okay, we actually mean it. If we also say we want to make the workplace fun, it's not just something that we write or we say every day, but we really work on creating activities to make the workplace fun. And same it is for if we say we want to develop our people. We actually live the things we believe in. So for me, this is actually a way, and we keep on doing this every single day, okay? And I really think that the most important thing comes when we are hiring people. So this is why I also say it's not about skills. Skills can be taught. But what is most important is that we are hiring people who match our values. People who have the right attitude as we do, and people who can fit in our culture and continue to grow it and spread it within the organization.
Thank you so much. It's a great answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to add to that. At LinkedIn, we're a company of 11,000 people now, but our CEO talks about our culture and values about they are our biggest competitive advantage. And it sounds quite cliche, but it's really, really true. And being a cynical British person, like when I first came to the company, I much like Alison talked about, thought that our culture and values were what was written up on the wall and mostly forgotten about. But really within our organization, we live and breathe it on a daily basis. But it's difficult to do. It's difficult to internalize. One way that we do that is that every year we choose one of our core culture and values and have that as a mainstay for the year and develop different initiatives around it. Taking, for example, we talk about transformation of ourselves, of the company, and the world around. And so for the past year, we've been embodying that throughout the company, encouraging all of our employees to take on leaps of transformation for themselves, the company, and the world. And we're moving into our new financial year, and demand excellence will be the new theme. So we'll continue to have initiatives that are based around that, and it really helps everyone sort of internalize and understand what it means to them every year. So that's one way that we embody it.
Great, thank you so much. And yeah, culture of the company, that's the key word for all of us to think about. And when we want to implement the BIG strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, next question, please. Please raise your hand high, please. Table number 2. Let's wait for a second. Yeah, we're bringing the micro.
My name is Hương. I'm come from Open Asia Group, and I have one question for Mr. Allison. Yeah. In your presentation, I very interested in one message is factory designer to break tradition silo. Can you say some experience about this? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So sometimes we look at organizations, okay, and they are very focused to be departmental. Okay, so everybody just looks, every department looks at its own goals, as its own activities. But actually we are meant to be one company, all working in the same direction for the same goal. And in most cases, we are working in processes. So processes need the interaction actually of all departments to make one thing happen. And this is why, for us, when we design the factory, we say we break all walls, because sometimes most of the biggest hindrance is actually our own structure, okay? So we break all walls. We say we have complete open office space. And we have teams of people. So if you are in a production, for example, you have all the support team working together, sitting near each other. So whenever a problem happens, they can discuss together immediately and not keep on looking around, finding the different team members. No, they are there, they can respond fast to any issues, okay? So this is why we can have very quick problem solving, and we try to eliminate this thinking that it's my department and your department. No, we are one company.
I just want to share with you one example. Actually, breaking the barriers between the departments and business units requires a lot of efforts from everyone involved. So when, I just want to share with you the story from Navigos Group Vietnam, for example. A few years ago, maybe many of the clients got confused, that Vietnam Works and Navigos Search, whether that is two companies or not, because we used to operate in silo. Yeah, and then also, we used to argue a lot with HR team, with finance team, with IT team, because, each and every department just protect, our own workload, and always having the kind of excuses, and it results in a lot of arguments between the departments. And when we actually try to remove that kind of barriers, we put up the slogans, One Navigos, right? And then in the company trip last year, we also put the slogans, One Navigos, One Dream. And we really have to, all of the department heads have to work together and commit ourselves to take action, to really collaborate with each other. And whenever we have problems with any departments, then we really have to sit down, make our own efforts to try to sit down and discuss in a constructive way. And we keep on constantly remind ourselves to do that. And only when the leaders are doing that, then the people in the departments and in the different business units, they are actually synchronized with each other. And if in any organizations you already have that kind of problems with, silo operation in different departments, then it is time actually to break the walls. And it requires a lot of efforts, but it's worth trying, because we have seen great results out of that kind of anti-silo concept. Yeah, so try if you want, and it's worth. Yeah, thank you.
Any great examples. Thank you so much. And any other questions or comments, please? Table 2, the same table. Yes.
Hi everybody, my name is Hiền. I'm from Trieu, Vietnam. We have a plant nearby Doan in Hanoi province, and I'm quite impressive about your role in Doan, as it's in the STEM industry. As in your presentation, we can see that the percentage of the women in the STEM industry is very low. This is the same situation in the Trieu, Vietnam. When I try to push the profile of the women in the role of the manager or middle level in Trieu, meet the barrier from the mindset of the Vietnamese manager, especially Vietnamese male manager. I don't know if you have the same situation, but I want to ask that, do you have any idea or any thing to train the mindset of them to give the opportunity to women more and more? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, so when I came here to set up the company, okay, I came here and I chose my core team. So as I said, I chose people who share also my same ideas. But it's also, I believe, so when the male managers in our company see, okay, that how we are giving the parts and encouraging women within the departments. Okay, so I think it's something that you start, you do it, you listen to it every day. That's something that also becomes more or less your way of life. And actually, this is my message. I don't think there is any secret recipe. Actually, it's just really that you have people in the top who believe that this is possible. And yeah, you preach about it every day. And you also show it by example. So if I look in, for example, I don't know, if I look in one of, let's say, the production department, and if I came across some people who I believe, oh, they have some potential, I would talk to the boss and say, keep a close attention to that person. I really see that person has potential in the company. Maybe we can give some further training and they can develop further. So it's also this hinting from my side. And then I think that people become more and more aware and they also start to practice it.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think this isn't something that can be driven by HR, or it has to come from the C-suite. It has to come from the CEO, the senior executives. It has to be one of their number one key priorities. As we saw on that I think it was only 13% of companies had an actual initiatives in place to be able to increase women in leadership. And if they're going to have that in place, it needs to be a directive from the top.
Very important that you need to send the materials of today's event to your CEO. Yeah. All right, and just one thing that I just want to remind us ourselves, ladies here in this room, that no matter how hard we change, no matter what kind of policies and strategies that the companies would put in place to support the women, we need to be very realistic in understanding that the unconscious bias still exists. Somehow, somewhere, it's okay, because if it exists already, what we can do is that we would try our best to prove ourselves, to make sure that people gradually see our values. But, even in my own experience, or probably with Alison as well, we still have to work twice as hard compared to men. And it's okay, don't think about that as a tragedy or so. It's just a matter of fact, it's just life. And if we happily accept that, and we are happy to actually try our best to prove ourselves, well, miracle will happen. And you know the law of attraction, right? We try the best for the best results, the best result will come. And I always love the saying that start with the end in mind. Like Alison, she started building the factory with the end, the final image of her factory in her mind. Then she would know how to work the way through it. Likewise, for us, just think about who we want to be. Picture ourselves in a few years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. Well, I now even have the picture of myself in the retirement. And just work with that. Probably the companies will provide you support. Probably your husband, your families will provide you support. But if they don't, you still have your own way, right? Just because even, you know, during the process of trying to do good things for your organizations is already the rewarding feeling for the women in terms of achievement. Yeah, so sometimes power would not come together with title, but power would come together with the influence that you can create to your organization, to your peers, to your boss even, right? And to me, that is the power of women.
Wow. Yeah, it's not a new definition, but yeah, it's really persuasive, yeah. Throughout the past 1,000 years of history in not only Vietnam, but many countries in the world, I have seen so many stories like that. Yeah, behind the kings are the very powerful women. All right, any other question? We still have time for, I think, maybe one more question, the last question, or comments if you have. Please. Maybe from the men. Yeah, I think that would be great. Yeah, we have heard so little about from men. Please.
Hi again. So our organization is 2 years old, and we're expanding our base. We're hiring more and more employees. Something I've noticed in the Vietnamese market is when I look for a technical person, all of the resumes that I get is a males. When I look for a sales executive, all the resumes that I get are men. Question is for the panel, what can I do as an organization to attract technical or sales executive that are female? Because I am not getting the resumes that I need in order for me to make a decision. Thank you.
Can I answer this question? Okay, from the recruitment standpoint. Okay, so there are a few things that we can do. Number one things, okay, if you are hiring the key positions, please tell your expectation to my team, okay? Let them understand, because you know, the recruiters, the consultants from Navigos Search, they are the extended arms for your talent acquisition team. So if they know your desire to diversify the pool of candidates that's submitting to you, then okay, they would take that message to go out to the market and spread out the news, right? So that would be one thing for the key positions. Now, how about the lower positions? Actually, that process is require a lot more efforts. And actually, even Navigos Search, we are also trying to educate the market, the younger talent market, with that concept. We already have the partnership with one vocational school, vocational college in Hanoi, to give more educational talks, you know, career talks, to advise the students and attract the new students to the school. For the, you know, for more females for tax, for STEM, and then also more males for the other professional services based skills majors. So we try to diversify the students, the genders in the students base itself now. It would take some time, of course, but if you are interested in participating in that process, please talk to us offline. And we would love to invite your companies to go with us with the journey to enrich the talent pools in Vietnam. And that would definitely benefit to your company as well. You know, giving the career talks at the universities, the colleges, vocational schools, speak out on medias. And only by doing so, then we can somehow have the impact on the mindset of the students, of the parents as well, because in Vietnam, don't forget that the students are choosing their subject also based on the parents' wishes. So we would need to do together in order to improve that situation. Right now, there would not be direct answer to you for this year for the kind of staff level gender diversity. But for the more senior positions, well, we are happy to support you with that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a great question, and thank you, Ms. Phương Mai. I think we have come to the very end of our seminar today, and we would like to invite you to fill in the evaluation form. Please note that we have prepared the evaluation form in the information kit of the event on the table, and please fill in so that we can improve in our next seminar. And I think now it's time for Ms. Phương Mai to wrap up our seminar, to give the closing speech before giving flowers to our speakers.
Right. Well, actually, I want to give the flower first. Is it okay?
Great, 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 great. So flowers, please.
All right, so I just want to invite our two speakers here and just wait for a moment. So before going, we move on for lunch, right? Then I would like to represent the audience today to give some nice Hanoi flowers in the sign of, as a sign of appreciation from Navigos Search and the audience for your time and your great sharing. Thank you.
And for the beautiful photos, please wait for the receptions to move the tables and chairs. Thank you. Please remove. Please stand in the middle of the stage. Yeah, the stage is clear, so yeah, and now it's great time to have a group photo. Our two great speakers, and Ms. Phương Mai, the General Director of Navigos Search, who had the initiative to organize this event, which we hope that will be very useful and fruitful for you, and you can implement great ideas in your organization.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, speakers. Thank you so much, Scott Pugh and Alison Astarita. Thank you, and now the closing speech from Ms. Phương Mai, please.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, our event today is coming to the end, and I do hope that during this morning you have learned a lot of experience and from the sharing from our great speakers, and also you have seen some information that can be useful for you from the report, from the survey that Navigos Group Vietnam has conducted. So before we move on for lunch, I would like to thank first and foremost all the participants today. Thank you for supporting Navigos Search over the years. Thank you for spending this beautiful morning in this room today. Thank you so much. And I know that today in the audience we also have some media representatives, so I would like to thank you as well, because media has been the partners with Navigos Search over the years to bring out to the public the information about talent markets in Vietnam, as well as the hot topics that concern the HR decision makers and also the top management decision makers in terms of personnel strategy. So thank you so much. And now I would like to have a few words with my team. So Navigos Search team, where are you? Navigos Search team, yeah. I would like to thank you so much because your great service and careness to our clients has made us proud, and you have built the brands for Navigos Search so well in the market that I always feel grateful and feel honored to be part of the team and to be your colleagues, to be your boss, right? And thank you so much for your great contribution over the years. Last but not least, I think that the audience today, together with me, we would like to thank a few people, the people behind the scene. So I heard during the break time, I have heard great feedback about the interesting numbers in our survey, and then also how gorgeous the event has been set up. So I would like to dedicate my final appreciation to the marketing and communication team of Navigos Search, who has created the survey so that we can have the information from the market, and also who has been working night and day before this event to set up this whole great event. So Thịnh, Vi, Quỳnh, Dương, can you please come up here? Quỳnh, where is Quỳnh? Quỳnh is still here? Yeah, our marketing, our communication director. So these are the people behind, the hero behind the scene of this event. And I would like to keep this stage for them so that we all can give them a real big applause for their hard work. And also, please, Mr. Tung, the MC, great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. And, okay, can I have a photo with you? All right, thank you. So many photos. Yeah, and before we have lunch, I would like to invite all of you to come up here to the stage so that we can take a group photo as the memory of the chance that we have today to meet each other and to share with each other our great experience and story. So please come up here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Phương Mai. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for a group photo. Please be on stage together with the speakers and with Navigos search teams. We also invite you to have the tea break for about 10 to 15 minutes in front of the ballroom. In 15 minutes, we'll back to the ballroom for the buffet lunch. So after the group photo, we'll need the ballroom clear for the buffet lunch setup. And during that time, we'll invite you to have the tea break outside. See you in about 15-20 minutes. Thank you so much.